Welcome to 3D. Today is Monday, February 16, 2026. I am your rapporteur, and this is the Daily Dossier. Global headlines. Sudan. While the war rages, over 529,000 refugees have returned to Sudan in the last 2 years because conditions in neighboring camps are even worse. Today, the first evacuation flights for Sudanese refugees in Uganda were announced, set to begin on February 19th. Meanwhile, drone threats remain constant in cities trying to return to life. Cuba. The fuel crisis has officially shuttered the island. All 9 international airports are now reported to be without aviation fuel. Major Canadian and European airlines have suspended flights, leaving thousands of tourists stranded or relying on emergency refuel stops in third countries. The annual Cigar Festival, a massive economic engine, was canceled today as the country struggles with its worst energy crisis in 60 years. Taiwan. U.S. lawmakers visiting Taipei warned that the partisan gridlock over the $1.25 trillion defense budget is aiding adversaries. Japan. Prime Minister Sanae Takaishi met with Bank of Japan Governor Kazuo Ueda today for the first time since her landslide win. While they called it a general exchange, the market is on edge ahead of the March 18th policy meeting, watching for how Takaishi's aggressive growth agenda will clash with the BOJ's interest rate hikes. Takaishi also met with families of North Korean abductees, signaling that her hardline stance will be a central pillar of her early administration. Nigeria. Security forces rescued 9 children kidnapped from a vigil in Benue. 4 suspects are in custody. Tensions remain high in Makoko as residents protest government demolitions, while in the north, motorcycle-riding gunmen killed and abducted dozens in 3 separate communities. South Korea. Tech leaders, Samsung, SK, are officially lobbying for tariff exemptions, citing their multi-billion-dollar investments on U.S. soil. Netherlands. Tenet finalized a €3.3 billion stake sale of its German business to the German state to fund domestic energy sovereignty projects. France. Prosecutors officially requested a 5-year public office ban for Marine Le Pen in her ongoing EU funds appeal. Italy. Olympic security remains on high alert following a detailed report on foiled Russian-linked hybrid attacks in Cortina. Burkina Faso. The junta-led parliament has repealed the charter of political parties, effectively closing the country's civic space. Venezuela. Public protests in Caracas demand a clear timeline and transparency regarding the new transitional council's international ties. Libya. The NOC confirmed final exploration deals with Repsol, Eni, and Chevron, specifically tailored for firms managing their own security. Honduras. Opposition groups launched a legal challenge against President Azfiro's private security and trade negotiations at Mar-a-Lago. Russia. Massive drone interceptions reported in the Bryansk region, 170 plus drones. Local power and heating infrastructure are heavily disrupted. Germany. The Munich Security Conference closed with Chairman Ischinger warning of transatlantic doubts as the U.S. strategic pivot accelerates. Iran. Diplomats have arrived in Geneva for a second round of indirect nuclear talks with the U.S., mediated by Oman. Portugal. Europol traced 90% of the recent €1.2 billion counterfeit cash surged to specific postal hubs in China. Portugal remains the primary investigative lead. Global thread, the wrecking ball order. Today's news confirms the under destruction theme from Munich. We are seeing a world where the old rules-based order is being replaced by emergency triage. Whether it's in the Netherlands building sovereignty clauses into their energy grid or Cuba being physically cut off from the global economy, the trend is toward isolationist survival.